I'm coming clean on why I haven't posted for a while. And this is going to be relevant whether you're a subscriber or not. I actually met somebody that made me question everything that I've been doing for the last 2 years. And it hurt at a deep level. And I went to the ocean to reflect, and I did come to some realizations, but I still couldn't put myself back together again. And what happened was I ended up from there going and working in an Amazon warehouse. And I worked 6 days a week, 10 hours a day, shuffling through the warehouse, in some cases 15 to 25 miles a day, and just shuffling stuff. Now, Amazon is a great place to work. I would definitely recommend working there on one level, and that is the people. The people are awesome. The people are great. The whole environment that they cultivate is really positive. What happened was I needed some cash flow, for one. My goal at that time was to make it 6 months, and at the end of 6 months to then just leave with a chunk of change and keep going on my journey. Now, I haven't been sick for 2 years. I got sick and I got injured. And in the process, I realized where I was. I looked around the warehouse and I could feel the disconnect with my body and my spirit and my mind. And it was like the universe was telling me, okay, this isn't the direction you're supposed to be going. Go back to the dream. And although it's going to be a bit of a struggle, I believe in it, and I believe in trusting the universe more than ever before. And I also believe that we're being tested on an individual and collective level. And one of the ways that we're being shown what's going to happen next is through movies. There's one movie in particular. You'll see that in the description. Now, in this movie, there are 3 stages that we're being pulled through. And I believe that we've actually gone through the first stage, the one of isolation.
The first stage was isolation. Disable their communication and transportation. Make the target as deaf, dumb, and paralyzed as possible.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
He's got nothing. He has nothing to work with. If he's already resulting to this for basic stimulation, I have my doubts that he'll last 7 days.
Now, the second stage after that is synchronized chaos.
Synchronized chaos. Terrorize them with covert attacks and misinformation.
Now, I believe that we're actually in the midst of synchronized chaos right now as we speak. And one of the ways out of that is through heart-brain coherence.
The heart that doesn't judge right, wrong, good, bad, the heart can discern what's true for us and what's not. Yet it does not assign a judgment. That's a powerful distinction, and that will empower you in situations whether you're in the boardroom or the classroom. Because a lot of what we're going to see and experience throughout 2024 is going to be manipulated, and we won't know the truth from fiction. And the only way to know that is to go within to God's Spirit. Now, I say that whatever level that means to you, you need to take that at that level, because that is going to be the level it makes sense. Inside each of us, we can have heart-brain coherence. And Gregg Braden talks a lot about this. And I believe that internal whispering, the internal knowledge of who we are at a fundamental level, that's going to be the way through. And one of the ways to do that is to recognize that we are creators.
Why is the fact that God's creative the first thing that God told us about himself? Because he created us in his image. So he wanted us to know why he created us, which means he created us to create stuff and he made us to make stuff. You were put here to create stuff. You were put here to make stuff. Why? That's how you exercise your God-likeness. Okay? Now,
we're creators, and when we go back to that childlike discovery and the enjoyment at that level, that regardless of what kind of thing happens, if you paint or you draw or you speak, make videos, maybe you dance, maybe whatever it is that you're doing at a creative level, at one time it fed you. And we need to go back to that childlike wonder where we enjoy the spirit of creating, not for what happens from the external world, but from what happens within. I believe that's the key to actually also listening once again to the heart, because it's when we were a kid, when we developed that childlike wonder and we just played for play's sake. That's what we need to reconnect to. And I believe that will get us through the synchronized chaos, because we're not going to know what's real and what isn't throughout all of this manipulation.
You can see how those things play out like in everyday marketing, right? Like, and how like that sometimes can tell you like, oh, that's how you influence people and persuade and change behavior. And as long as you understand that like you don't necessarily have to change their minds, you just have to change their behavior. You're going to be good in this MOS. I love it.
Already, the calendar's been weaponized against us. We're led to believe that a new year has begun. There is no new year. Look at what Mother Nature's doing. She's hibernating. That's where we are in some ways. We cannot divest ourselves completely from the outside world and say, oh, new year, blah, 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 when Mother Nature is hibernating. Why do you think it is that so many people fail when they go into the New Year's? There's a lot of different reasons, but one of them is a disconnect with what's actually going on within the outside world itself and Mother Nature. But that's only part of the PsyOp. It gets us to divest ourselves from what's there. And that's what happened to me when I went in, worked in the warehouse, because I was divested again from Mother Nature herself and from my own heart-brain coherence and where I'm going as a journey. It's more important than ever to basically go back and get into a state of being where we are once again listening to our heart, our spirit. It's a spiritual battle, and we need to go back to that spirit. Not only is this important for getting to the next level collectively, but it's also important because we're going to be led to believe things that we see that are not real. Unless we do something different, there's a third stage we'll be led into, and that is civil war.
Done successfully, the third stage would happen on its own.
What's the third stage?
A coup d'etat. Civil war. Collapse.
But when we actually ground ourselves in the outside world, in spirit itself, and the heart again, and we align our heart-brain and use our intuition, I believe that we'll be stronger than ever, and we'll be able to go through this synchronized chaos so that the more grounded you are in spirit and the more you're aligned with your intuition, the more you're going to be able to see through all of that and still live alongside your neighbors in peace. There will be no civil war. They want a civil war. They want us to be destroyed from within. And we are destroying ourselves from within by connecting only with these devices and having that be our world. So this next journey, I am pivoting this whole channel to be one of sharing the discovery process rather than sharing the conclusions that I've made. I believe this is going to be a lot more fun, a lot more interesting, and also a lot more rewarding. If this resonates with you, helps you in any way, be sure to give it a like, share with someone who might think would benefit from it, and let's start creating from our spirit within and connecting with each other. And let's buy someone a beer or a coffee that looks like the enemy, because guess what? They are us, and we are them. And when we realize this in practice, we won't have civil war. We'll actually come together and be whole again. Found this video helpful? Be sure to give a like. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time.